under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All present except for Commissioner Kayer, who has an excused absence. Madam Mayor, I have one change, and that was the motion to excuse Commissioner Kayer was omitted from the last minute. I have corrected them, and they're on your desk.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Sewell, second by Commissioner Miller. Roll call vote, please.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mildred?
Yes.
Semo?
Yes.
Birchall?
Yes. And reapproval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Motion by Commissioner Carson, second by Commissioner Miller, to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item E, review and place on file one, the statements of revenue and expenditure, and the budget and reconciliation.
Thank you. So tonight I'm reporting on the financials for the month ending December 30th, 2019. Start the revenue and expenditure report through the end of September were approximately 25% for the fiscal year. Our major funds are in line with that benchmark. Some of the funds that were had some large variations that I noted in the memo. They're pretty much items, but we'll go through them. For one, 2016 street bond debt service fund, expenditures are 6%. The majority of the budget is annual principal payments on the bond, which is paid in January. Number two, the civic center fund, the revenues are at 40%. The majority of the tax revenue for the civic center was supported by cash-based posted receipts, and this is the majority of it during the first year. Third, the cemetery fund revenue expenditure were at 32%. Majority of this activity occurs in both the fall and spring, and there's an opportunity. We'll see that falling down here. Any questions on the revenue expenditure report? If not, the cash investment summary report for September was also included in the agenda packet. I don't have any notable items. It was pretty straightforward for September.
I'll make a motion to review and place on file a statement of revenue and expenditure. Cash and investment summary report.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Carson, second by Commissioner Sewell, to review and place on file the report. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, approval of the monthly checklist.
Thank you. So the check register report for September was also included in the agenda packet.
Make a motion we approve the monthly check register report.
Motion by Commissioner Sewell, second by Commissioner Miller, to approve the monthly checklist. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mildred?
Yes.
Semo?
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Birchall?
Item G, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. None. Moving on to item H, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. None. We have old business item I. Discussion for approving pay application number 2 to the annual utility license for the 2019 local street paving program in the amount of $48,768.
Thank you. This is a progress payment to Angelo Lupino for the work they performed. A lot of this includes a lot of the street patching that they did over the last few weeks for the city. So again, we're within budget and we are recommending approval of the change.
I'll make the motion to approve the pay application number 2 to Angelo Lupino Inc.
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Semo?
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mildred?
Yes.
Birchall?
Yes. New business, item J, discussion consider authorizing request for qualifications, RFQ for engineering and design services for the Ironwood City Square project.
Thank you. So in front of you guys is our request to go for qualifications for this project. So this is the City Square project, which would be located in the lot that we've been talking about for about just over a year now. This would be a large-scale economic impact project. It would be based on driving people, the public, and customers to the downtown through having outdoor public spaces, utilized for events, and many other things. So we're at that point finally where we're going to go out and try to find some engineers and architects to design this project for us. And so that's where we're at. If you guys have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer.
I guess just my one question on the EDC funding, is that lot?
Okay, so where we're at with this is that we currently have a letter of intent from the NEDC, which basically says that the funding is allocated for the project. Now that letter of intent is going to be up in the middle of November, November 14th. And so we're actually asking for an extension to that. So we won't do anything where we contract with engineering and architects until after we get that extension for the letter of intent.
So we won't be committing to spending any money that.
Yeah, I mean, there is still, there's another step. I mean, there's still, in order to get a finalized grant agreement from the NEDC, you actually have to have the engineering and design completed for that step. So there is, they've allocated the cash, but they haven't said for sure with the grant agreement. Because they want to have an opportunity to review the engineering and design stuff, because that, they can put a firm budget, firm dollar amount on exactly what this project is going to cost.
We will look for a similar request for the project. We want the RFP and discuss the proposal separately. So are we not, does this include pricing or just qualification?
This is qualifications. I would recommend we do the same process where we ask the consultant to put their cost in a separate envelope. So we base it on qualifications. And we also have their price secondarily to look at.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that we first we do the qualifications and then the pricing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a motion. Lot price, support.
Motion by Commissioner Milton, second by Commissioner Carter, to authorize the request for qualification. Madam Chair, can I have a motion?
Yes. As we've gone through this process, the effective bill, this will be wonderful for this comment.
If everything goes well, we would be starting, on the application we put that we would start June 15th, and it would be completed by November 1st.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item K, discussion consider approving an operating agreement with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for the installation of a monument sign on the east end of the Title II, and authorizing to the manager to sign the agreement.
All right, so actually item K and L are related, so I'll maybe talk about them as sort of a whole thing, and then we'll get to the details of this specific item maybe at the end. So something that we've been working on for probably a year now. So we have our entrance sign when you come into downtown from Berkeley or Route 2. And we had that put in 3 years ago, about 2 years ago. And with the intent that eventually we would do entrance sign on Highway 2 as well. So what we've done is that we've budgeted money to put in these two signs on each of the west end. It's taken a little bit more time to work out the logistics of that, because signs aren't going on city property. On the west end, there's a sign will be going near the Welcome Center, which the state owns in our MDOT property. And then on the east end, the DNR, it'll actually go on the right of way of the trail, so which is owned by the DNR. So this agreement that we're talking about specifically here is with the DNR, them allowing us to be able to put the sign on their property. One thing that just to bring up in talking about this whole conversation is that last Monday at this time we had basically a first impressions analysis of our community, and it was done by MSU Extension Office, where they had 5 people come in who are professionals in community development and planning and historical preservation, things like that. They came to our community and did a first impressions of our community. And one of the things that came up is that they didn't know where the downtown was. They come on Highway 2, and even beyond that, they didn't even know exactly when they were in Ironwood, until they looked at Google Maps or something to realize that they were actually in city limits, because there wasn't really any indication on either side of the community. But almost, or just as important, when they passed Douglas, they just blew right past that sign there that indicates where the downtown is. And in fact, that sign doesn't even say downtown. So one of the things we'd also like to consider, not necessarily on this item, but when we start discussing the next item, is that we also would like to do a sign, see how much it would cost to do a sign that directs people to the downtown on the junction of Highway 2, which is so on Douglas and Fulton. Just to, maybe we're looking at lots of different options of what that sign might look like. So, we're up for discussion on that, but we think we might as well go out and see how much it would cost to do something there as well, and you guys make a decision on something you'd like to budget for that third sign. But this item in particular is specific to the east end sign. It's going to go, you kind of see on the map about where the sign is going to go. It's just sort of to the southwest of where the entrance to the industrial park is. So this agreement is up for a 10-year term. It can be renewed after that.
Thanks for the clarification. I understand why the Iron Belt Trail.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the operating agreement.
Motion by Commissioner Schumer, second by Commissioner Clark, to operating agreement with Ironwood.
Well, this got, the extra work you put in on this. Thank you for doing that. One of the things that bothers me is that Michigan Department of Transportation viewed keeping the traffic flowing as a high priority. And I've always viewed it as let's follow the people down and let's get them in our car. So anything that we can do sign-wise, especially when you get to the Douglas Boulevard, because Douglas Boulevard isn't a wall. Wall Street is a residential, and Douglas Boulevard is a wider street that has more traffic. It's the logical way, to go back and forth. So thank you for continuing to do that.
Now we get to corporate transaction. I would recommend that after the last meeting, executive situation to one
Absolutely, yeah. We were just talking about that we may decide in the second week in November, or second meeting in November, that we're going to do a workshop decision to go over that. But it's still fresh in our head.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mildred?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Burchell?
discussion of the authorizing bids for the construction of one sign located on the east end and west end of the Highway 2 for the intersection of 52.
All right, so kind of the continuation of our previous conversation. This is to get a price basically for what it would cost to put one on the east end and on the west end both. Like I said, the one on the west end will go with the Welcome Center, you can kind of imagine that flat area as you're coming in from the west, sort of a big flat area before you get to the Welcome Center. That's the location, approximate location where the signs go. So we have filled out an application with MDOT for requesting that location. We've also met with MDOT representatives and gone to that site and had discussions about, where would be the best location to do it. So they are on board for that location, so it's kind of going through the paperwork process. And in the meantime, we'd like to go out for bid, so then, right away next spring we can get going on this project. So, and then once again, we also would like to move forward with getting pricing for a third sign, and we'll probably go through sort of a brainstorming idea at the staff level on what that might look like. I mean, there's ever even been conversations about, some communities even do arches for their downtown, so that could be a potential option. That will probably be more money, but at least we can get the idea, put it together, and then maybe look at what the cost of that would be versus having maybe just a larger sign or a more visible sign branded for the community that's downtown.
And Tom, maybe to add to that, I know on the first sign design, we had Mayor Burchell and Mr. Corcoran help with that process, putting a bid spec together. So if you would be open to that again, I think it went very well. And if you don't mind, we sit down with you and kind of go through that again for these other signs, if that's okay. Yeah, we can look at the two end ones and also that one in the middle too.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize bid for the construction of the line gun sign. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Seymour.
Just to say that it's been a long process and it's a lot. So it's really nice to see you. Thank you.
And I should say, thanks to Tim Erickson who works in our office, he's really spearheaded this project and done a lot of the groundwork in terms of communicating with the state and getting things rolling. So, good job.
We can talk about that right now. That's not in the budget. So it either be a secondary thing to come back later and like them, or if we want to try to work those into the project, we can talk about that when we sit down and go over the bid spec.
Should they have that as an option one in the budget?
We could. It'll be a totally separate contractor. So we may want to go out for a separate bid for lighting. It'll be a totally separate contractor than the the sign contractor to do the lighting. So we can talk about the best way to do that, include it with this project or bid that out separately. Yep, we'll talk about that too.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 10, discuss and consider the amount of funds and acceptance of amending resolution number 019-007, minus the one of Heritage Park Mountain Bike.
All right, so here. So basically, we just recently, a little update on the Iron Park Trail project. We've been working on this for a couple of years now. Going the right year working on it. Basically where we are, we turned in the grant agreement to the DNR, and then they gave it back to us with comments. One of the things was that there was just some basically ordering of how we talked about the matching dollars in the resolution. Before we kind of just some of the match was and then listed, the three organizations, and they wanted it to be basically how it is now, where it says, there's $120,000 match, and then where $14,000 is our in-kind contribution, and then the two organizational contributions to the match. So it's more of just a nuts and bolts thing for the DNR, but since it is a resolution you guys passed, we thought it would be important to bring back to you guys to be amended, so it reads exactly how the DNR would like it to be. If you have any specific questions about that.
I was going to say I'm really happy to see the resolution. Right, in the resolution.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution as described tonight. Or
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Wood. Roll call, please.
Mildred?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yeah.
Corcoran?
Yeah.
Burchell?
Item 10, discuss and consider Resolution number 019-063, a resolution to comply with the provision of Public Act 152.
Thank you. Chair, Sovereign has come to fruition every year, once a year since 2012. They passed Public Act 152. Basically, the Commission needs to take action with regards to the health care benefits that we provide for our employees. And so there's four options. We'll go quickly. There's establishing a hard cap, or approving a hard cap that's put in place by the state for first and family. Ability to adopt an 20% cost share. And three is reducing not all of that. Option four is to opt out or exempt ourselves from the cost sharing model that's one by the state. Each year the Commission has taken action to opt out, which is acceptable and compliant with the Act. And then we can go ahead and bargain the medical benefits with the union and put it on the union with those in place. So those are the options available, and then this is for planning and starting in January 1, 2020. I'm going to do the end of the year.
Oh, maybe to add, just historically, the Commission has chosen to opt out in the past, and currently also have a hard cap in place for the benefit. To clarify.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution and item 10. Support.
Motion by Commissioner Freeman, resolution to approve the resolution. Mr. President, roll call vote, please.
Semo?
Yes.
Corcoran? Mildred?
Yes.
Birchall?
Item O, mayor's appointment. I would recommend appointing to the Alabama Civic Center Development Director, James Pirango. This bill is expiring time. That was the same term. And that new term expires on October 31st, 2022.
Motion we approve the support.
Motion by Commissioner Freeman, seconded by Commissioner Mildred. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item C, manager's report.
Thank you. Just a few items to go over. Before I get into the items, just the informational items, I want to share a quick story here. Last week, I opened up my mail, and there was a big envelope that came in the mail. We always get a little nervous when you get a big envelope that comes in the mail from the Department of Treasury. So we're like, okay, what's going on here? Well, we opened it up, and it was actually some very, very good news I want to share with the Commission. The city, and specifically our assessing department, Dennis Hewitt, had received a certificate of achievement. And again, this is significant. It's basically they come in and they do an audit of how we do our assessing, and there's a whole series of things that we have to follow to make sure we're doing it properly. And Dennis Hewitt's credit, everything got checked off, all the boxes were checked, and it was one of the few audits that they've done that they've had 100% perfection with the process. So again, very unusual to achieve that, but Dennis' credit, and Jason is following in footsteps with that process, so we'll keep that going in the future. But just to recognize that, there is a certificate of achievement, and essentially what it says is for a perfect score for the 2019 assessing audit, and it shows that the city and Dennis has a fair and equitable assessing process in place. So again, hats off to Dennis and the assessing department for that. So good job and well done. Yeah. Just a few other items to touch on. If you've been over by the college, over by the Civic Center, you probably saw the dome is up now. They've completed that over the weekend. What they're doing now is they're working on the interior of the dome. They're doing cleanup, doing the utilities, connecting up any gas, electric, getting all that in place. So that'll take them a little bit of time. But again, it's in place, and hopefully within a few weeks we'll have ice and have it up and running for the season. So Again, it's been a lot of effort, a lot of people working together to make that happen for this season. With that said, we're also working on with the insurance company on a permanent structure out there going forward. So that would be one of the next steps going forward once this is finalized, a temporary structure. We've also learned the insurance company did have their engineers come out, and we had talked about, the footings. If the footings didn't meet current code, maybe the building would be located. They did determine that the footings do meet current code, so the building would be rebuilt on its existing footprint over there. So just more of an informational item. And concurrently with that, the Civic Center Board is also, they've re-advertised for a Civic Center Manager position. They received applications through today, actually. And they'll be reviewing those applications and going forward with interviews over the next week or two. Just to keep you up to speed on that. City is also working. We have a group that we put together to review proposals. This would be for the engineering study that's going to be done for our water system, for a pump station and also potential treatment. So we did review 5 firms that submitted proposals, and it's been narrowed down to 2 firms that have been shortlisted. We're actually going to interview those 2 firms this week, and then probably the second, later in November, bring it back to the full commission for consideration. So again, I want to thank the group that's been working on this, reviewing the proposal, and again, we're moving forward with that, and hopefully within the next few weeks to a month, we'll have a firm to bring back to the city commission and keep that process going. We're also working with the auditors, so the finance department is engaging with the auditors this week, so they'll be starting to go through that process. So again, a very time-consuming process for the finance department and all the department heads, but it goes very well. And again, that audit will start this week, and it usually takes about a month, Paul, roughly, to complete that. So upon that final report, the auditors will present that to the city commission. This Friday is also one of our first Friday events, and it's Fur Friday, is my understanding. Furry Friday. All right, thank you. And furry being animal, right? So the Hope Animal Shelter is going to have a big part of that downtown with a lot of other things going on. So we're going to invite people down again for another Furry Friday event this Friday. So get downtown and enjoy it. Stop in the businesses, and I believe the theater is also having another show tonight, or next Friday, which has been very popular. And also, it is Halloween, so Thursday is trick or treat 4 to 7. So 4 to 7 for trick or treating in town, and just have to throw an extra jacket on probably. It's a little chilly, but hopefully the weather cooperates, and kids have a good time. And that's the end of the report.
There will be an election coming up next week, right? Every once in a while, I'm going to say thanks to the city staff for the opportunity to work with them, and I'm always happy to work with them. And my fellow.
I want to say I just enjoyed the last couple of years working on the staff with us, and remind people to vote. There's not a lot going on in the town.
We've been moving forward. It's something. I was on at the Civic Center last week, and this wanted to section the project. There were 17 employees of the companies that are working for the insurance company to put this Civic Center back together for us for this dinner. So I was really, when it's all said and done and fixed up and it's being over there and dating can take place again there, everyone just, we'll get those dates, everyone has to come. Because it's going to be one more exciting event. So thanks everyone for working on that, and winter's on its way, but if you live here, you probably love winter, right?
We another operational support grant for 2020 for $12,500, of which $2,360 are federal funds for the National Volunteer Health. The town has also received the capital improvement grant for $22,288 for equipment upgrade focused primarily on the second floor with the studio side. And then, comments on the Ironwood Theater. The third Ironwood Theater received an operation support grant for $18,750. I don't know the breakdown from federal money for the National Volunteer Health, but I'm sure we received $2,000 of that from the federal dollars. And an $18,072 capital improvement grant to use upgrading technology and sound system. Wonderful. And then within the city, our downtown development authority, town living applied for extended fees with $4,000 living grant from the Commission Council for the regional event and agency to cover first Friday live music and food. That's just wonderful. The state recognizes these important activities in the community and these wonderful arts-related activities and opportunities. And I'd like to also close by saying that I have been honored to serve by City Commission Mayor for the last 4 years, and thank our city attorney for their passionate and energetic listening to our fellow commissioners as well. We may not always agree on issues, but we've expressed our differences of opinion with respect. I thank you all, and again, I echo what other commissioners that we really appreciate the hard work of our administration and our staff, and we do a great job. Sometimes talk about the situations, environment, we really appreciate it.
One more thing is you mentioned the theater getting a grant, and one of the grants is for our sound system, redoing all our speakers. It's a $70,000 project, which should really enhance quality of sound that we're putting out, which is what we're there for, quality of sound. And the sound system, we plan on unveiling it at the Alamania concert. Ticket. So I believe we should celebrate the success of all of you in the room together. Thank you.
And maybe afterwards we can have a photo with them and the ticket.
There you go.
But we should be recognized as partners. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Support. Motion by Commissioner Skinner, second by Commissioner Shelton, to adjourn. So far, all in favor? Aye.